Hello guys, can you hear me? Good morning. Deep, good morning. It's good to see you, buddy. How's it going? So just let me adjust the music a little bit. Adjust the stuff. Lower it. If you guys can hear me well, let me know in the chat. And let me just set up everything as needed. Live chat. So today we will continue working on our architectural project. I will be adjusting the architectural meshes such as the walls and other meshes that we need to interact with in Blueprint to customize. So today maybe we will get into some Blueprint to test out some stuff and set up the basic user interface. We will see what we can do with the next 90 minutes. I'm gonna set like hour and a half to work on this cool stuff. And if you have any questions, if you are working on anything, just feel free to ask and let's get started. But before we get started, let me read the chat. So Trader Render, good morning. Sigfred, sorry, I slayed your name. Apologies. Good morning, my man. Loud and clear. Thank you. So guys, there is something very important, like because time is ticking, I really need to, you may or may not know, we have a challenge going on the 28th of July. And it's about designing the metaverse space to create something inspired by a fashion brand, an exhibition space, a virtual museum. So anything that you can think of that can be shared with others. So think whether you do this for the challenge, and the next step, we're gonna get into Unreal Engine for Fortnite. So look at it this way. You're gonna create a project, a virtual space that people can explore for this challenge. And in the next few weeks, we're gonna also talk about Unreal Engine for Fortnite. We're going to port our designs into that area because this is something really, really big. So we got many requests to extend the deadline, and we extended to 28th of July. And we have some big prizes for the top 3 winners and other categories. So these are in xSPECTAR tokens, but we got questions, hey, can you convert this into real world value? Yes, you can. So yeah, I just want to spotlight on this and keep that in mind. We have a community going on. All links will be in the description. I'm gonna also put a link for you in the description or in the chat, just if you want to read more. Now, let's get into the architectural stuff. Sana, hey, what's up? Hope all is going well. So guys, if you are going to learn anything, if you're gonna enjoy the stream, I hope you do, of course. And if you do, just leave a like if you're enjoying the stream. So this help us and support us reach more people. I would really, really appreciate it. So I have another version of the file we were working on last time. So last time, if you may remember, if you recall, we were working in Blender and we were taking meshes that doesn't, well, this one is good. So we need to hide like good meshes, but I need to show the wireframe. Yeah, there we go. So meshes like with bad topology, bad wireframes and whatnot, and we are improving on this. So the team already have done lots of work, and we have this model, these walls that are way much better in terms of everything, so we don't do everything all over. And there are just little comments here and there, like the material IDs and whatnot, because this was not made for blueprint in mind, but now we will do that. So we will start with the first floor because this is what we will be exploring. And I'm going to isolate since we've actually let's do it in Max because I'm short on time. Next time we do it in Blender, but yeah. So I'm gonna isolate this stuff and I'm going to add it to a new layer. And if we take a look at some of these meshes, so some of them are separated, it seems already. So it may sound like we need to check. So this is called 18, this is 14. If we get back to here, it's called 21. So this is an old model. And this is a common, very, very common situation we all encounter when we are working with our projects, where some of the meshes could change drastically and you need to do like full replacement of what you have. And if your project is not well organized, if your data math files or FBX files are not so well organized, or if your naming conventions and so on, that will cause massive pain in replacing these files. Now, lucky for me, I already have so many meshes that are well named and organized in terms of like how they are, but we will see how it's gonna go. So what we want to do now is to replace these meshes that we have. Actually, before we do that, of course, we're gonna work on some naming conventions in 3ds Max, but we're gonna replace everything we have here with a new file, so it's easy to update. So let's assume here's the scenario. I received Unreal Engine project like this, and I received the latest or one of the 3ds Max or Blender versions that got these files, these names. It's not super organized because it's work in progress file, and I need to take over. Here's the scenario, right? So this is a scenario any of you guys can encounter when you're working on a project. So what we are going to do, let's just first get back to our 3D program and let's search for the layer walls. We want to see where are all these meshes are located within our file. And right off the bat, I don't know if I said that right, but we have something called layer 1, and I think I made that as I was working on the file, and we have, yeah, I just made that actually. Well, clicking at the other walls, so let's say here, yeah, we have walls, and if you isolate this file, we got all of the stuff. So 90% of these things look like walls. We have some stairs, that's fine. So ideally, I would detach this into 1, 2, 3, 4 meshes for best lumen, GI, and reflections, global illumination and reflection effects. Because if in Unreal Engine, I don't know, let me see if I can show you an example. So in Lumen scene, anything that is black, like this, actually wait, let me show you better visualizer. So surface cache, there we go. Anything that is black, sorry, purple like this, will look black in the reflections and will not receive correct global illumination. So when you have purple surfaces like this means that something is wrong with the mesh, or in this specific asset here, this is a glass asset, glass window, so it doesn't receive like light. So don't get fooled. So let's go back to surface cache. Let's see where we go. I don't know what are these exactly, but we will see. But let's see that location we were talking about, how it looks. Is it this one here? Nope, it's the other place. Yeah, as you can see, there are some areas that have this. And this might be like everywhere in your project. So let's see, how about these? That's kind of weird, these have this. But look, like all of this mesh is like this. So one piece. And this is not so much recommended, but let's see how it looks in the reflections now. So I'm going to... So this is why we detach our meshes, guys. If you're like, I always get the question, why do we detach our meshes? For better surface cache and lumen coverage of the meshes. So they look great, the stuff below us. But I think that's because I have hardware ray tracing on. So let me, just for now. Actually, when it comes, if you're using hardware ray tracing, you can get away with so much of what we discussed. But if you're using software ray tracing, so you don't have an RTX card, yeah, you really need to do this. But let me search for use hardware ray tracing when any available. Actually, I'm not using it. Okay, good. So let's see if we can go to another mode. Let's see. I usually do this and I walk around. I know like this is black because of the material, but I think it's fine. Actually, it's not. So do you see here we have a white surface? It's supposed to look white, but here it looks black. Unless it's this guy. So let's just... Yeah, that's correct. So let's check the surface cache real quick. I think the yellow is also problematic. I can't really remember. But for the best demonstration on this, Unreal Engine, Lumen Introduction. There is from Epic, Lumen Essentials by a boy Matt, what was his name? Yeah, Matthew Weddiston. This is one of the best people ever. We have this course here where he talks in detail about Lumen and the visualizers and some conclusions. And yeah, I would recommend searching for all his learning content or the courses provided by him. Yeah, so I'm gonna put a link to this. Also, this might be a good time to plug this. You may want to go to our academy for 3 reasons. We have free Unreal Engine training with 4 sessions. So if you're completely new to Unreal Engine, there are 4 nice lessons that will teach you the basic crash course introduction to Unreal, then the materials and whatnot, creating materials and lighting, Lumen, no mention of static lighting, but everything you need to know about Lumen to get you started and working with data in general. So there is this. You can find them in courses. So click here on this page. You're gonna find like 3. For some reason, yeah, there we go. The free Unreal Engine training, and we have an Unreal Engine course for anyone who wants to learn Unreal Engine for architecture. And we have this upcoming course with multiple case studies on pre-sale now. This is coming around November. So this one, will teach you how to make this, and it also got much more to what we have in the other one. All these lessons, very good stuff. And this is a course, a comprehensive training program. The goal of this one is to teach you how to create an MVP or a demo, a showcase, and a case study from start to finish, including new stuff in Unreal Engine like PCG and Substrate, procedural generation, the new Unreal Engine materials. And this is now in the making. I'm working on it every day and night with my team. And yeah, it's on pre-order now, pre-sale, I would say that. You can check it out. I also had this link open because I wanted to talk about this when I talked about our challenge, but one of the main other reasons you may want to explore this area is recently Louis Vuitton, I don't know how to pronounce this correctly, but one of the, I don't think they need an introduction. So they recently partnered up with Epic Games to announce the creation of their digital experiences and see how they can use real-time technology to benefit what they do and showcase what they do. Very interesting read. I'm gonna share that with you guys. Oh, I can't share because it's such a long link, but maybe I can wait. Hope so. Yeah. Let's just get back to work. So now you know why we detach our meshes and whatnot. Let's get back to 3S Max and let's get back to work. So I'm going now to start with isolating what I'm going to work on. And I prefer like new fresh start when it comes to exporting things. So I'm going to add these and these into their new layer. And the same for this, without these. However, for this, I'm going to deselect the interior walls and keep the exterior stuff. And just for now, I'm going to move them to a new layer. And I'm going to do the corrections later, but I'm going to call this facade. So I want to separate the exterior facade and whatnot from my interior walls for ease of working with data. Before I continue, let me read the questions. I sometimes kind of forget. Adam, how are you, buddy? Let me also get hydrated and drink some of the coffee I made. I completely forgot as well. Hope you guys are doing good, having a good day. Ariam, please share with us only software Lumen-based lighting tutorial. I have asked before, also some of us don't have RTX cards. Thanks and keep it up. Ariane, these are the teachings I'm doing now are specifically for people who don't have RTX cards, like detaching our meshes and preparing our scene and whatnot. So please pay some good attention. This is exactly what you want to do when you're working with your projects and how you detach your meshes and debugging your scene. Looking in the Lumen visualizer with the surface cache, where are the purple parts, where you need to detach your meshes and so on. So this is especially for you, buddy. But it's good to see you, and I hope you enjoyed the stream, my man. Jungle, how are you, man? It's good to see you. It's been a long time. So is it necessary to break up all the surfaces like that when you are using dynamic lighting, not baked? The main reason you would do that, as I mentioned, is for more accurate reflections on your surfaces. So you don't want areas to appear black in the reflections, and the global illumination will also work better. So these parts, they don't receive global illumination. I think, as far as I know, they just receive one bounce or something. I can't confirm, but they are not let as well as like these parts. So you might have artifacts with like everything that's purple, for example. It may not be noticeable for your eye, by the way. Sometimes it's very hard to know the difference, but it's like safe to break the light, the meshes like this. Now the main difference here is very, very important detail you want to pay attention to: the difference between breaking up your surfaces like this for Lumen and the difference for baked lighting. Now, for Lumen, so let me demonstrate. If we go to Yaboi Max and let's just create a room. So I'm gonna set like, hey, this is 5 meters, 20 centimeters, and 3 meters in height, whatever. Let's make a room. So here is a little nice room, and let me just turn off these stupid selection brackets. I really hate them. Nope. I'm sorry, I have to do this. Get out of my face. Thank you. So this is one room, and this is another room. I'm going to detach all these meshes, and also like, I'm not gonna go all the way, but you get the idea. Like when you have a room, let's just do it in an easier way. Sir, can you like, no? Thanks. That moment when you mix all shortcuts between all programs. All right. When you are creating any type of apartment architectural project, doing stuff like this is always, always, always wrong. It's really important to detach your meshes as much as like this. Sometimes these things are okay because I need to create like special slide for this, so I'm not gonna go into it. But there is the concept concave and concave shapes, and I keep mixing which word, which one. One of them you want to avoid. So you want always to have open meshes like this. So when the concave or whatever is open like this, cool. This is cool. Maybe, well, not maybe, actually, and usually this is not cool, having a room like this in the C shape. So you want to avoid like when something is around this mesh is like to go like this and wrap it in complex shapes. You want for your detached meshes to be like on 90 degrees as much as possible. So usually we also detach this, like if you want to get the best result. And up to this point where you have a room made like this for Lumen, this works perfectly with dynamic lighting. Now, if you want to detach the optimal meshes for baked lighting, you want to avoid having meshes that intersect like this, because when the lighting is being baked, something is going to leak from the light map of this mesh into here, and you may have problems. So what you usually do is actually something similar to this. So if I may demonstrate, I usually do this and do this. So that's number one rule we do usually. We avoid intersecting meshes. That's number one. And number two, assuming that the project experience is an interior project. So assuming there are no exteriors, and we do the following. So you can imagine, let's imagine this is fixed, okay? So imagine this looks like this, all right? What we do is we detach this surface And we call this, for example, SM wall interior. We give it like a tag that this is interior, and we can easily find it in the outliner when we type this, because we give this high resolution. So in the UV space, if you compare this mesh with this mesh, so when you assign an unwrap UVW modifier and assign the same to this, and you're baking the light on a quality, let's say 500, whatever, like the light map resolution. When we send this, when we unwrap this mesh and send it to Unreal Engine, it looks like this. So this surface is taking this space. And we don't see any of these if the project is an interior project. So we usually prefer to detach these and set this on high quality, the interior face, and the exterior faces, we set them on low quality. So we don't, like, every light map in Unreal Engine is a texture and it takes space, and you want to utilize that space wisely. It's a nice experience. Now, of course, if you compare the UVW map of this object to this object that has all the space here, and when you're creating your light map UVs, it's okay to stretch the islands, just so you know. Like, it doesn't have to perfectly present this surface, so you don't need to like project it exactly like this. Actually, if you want to be super take all this use you can of the space you should like do all of this. Of course, like, stay away from the seams a little bit, you know, but yeah, you can stretch your light map UVs. Shadows and like ambient lighting will look so much nicer the more space you have. So I hope this clarifies why we detach our meshes and how we should detach them for Lumen. So for Lumen, it's okay, you keep the whole mesh like this, but for in baked lighting, it's very much recommended that you detach your meshes, the interior walls from the exterior walls, and set the light map in Unreal Engine accordingly. And that looks like when you click on any static mesh that you want to bake the light for it. When we go to lighting, so usually the process, you click on any mesh and you scroll, you look for lighting, and here override light map resolution. So depending on the import options that you chose, if you are using data math. So let me show you an example. When you click re-import, if this will happen, there is a dialog that tells you to choose between the minimum light map resolution and the maximum light map resolution, and the default is between 64 and 512. So when we have large surfaces like this, it's 512, and when you have small surfaces, if like this, perhaps 256, and so on. So 128. Imagine all this wall, somewhere I click, I don't know, is 128. It will look so bad when you bake the lighting on this mesh, especially considering it have like so many faces here, right? Yes, so I hope this clarifies this. Good question, my friend Jungle Juzz. And yeah, I think this also makes a good YouTube video. So keep on the good questions, my guys. If I split the plane and group them in one layer, Nanite and Lumen UE5 work properly? I didn't fully understand, Adam. So if I split the plane and group them in one layer, Nanite, I think they should. Josio, Mister, welcome to the stream, my guys. La Hoshi, when I switch to path tracing, the sky disappeared. Can you tell me why is that? What type of sky are you using? And is it the natural sky? So here's path tracing. What will happen to my sky? Adam, I'm okay. Blender still crashes, but it's better seen. It's big. Oh my god, 600 kilometers land. Good luck, my dude. Muhammad, I'm doing great, my man. Welcome to the stream. How's it going on your end? Jungle. I had the mirror in the room and the reflection had an extreme blotchiness in the GI. It must be become not enough global illumination samples are available from Lumen reflections. Is it a limitation of the current version? So reflections in general are like really hard to achieve in real time. So you will always see these artifacts when you use Lumen. So what I just said, detaching your meshes, and for better reflections, I would ask you: are you using software ray tracing or hardware ray tracing? Because the massive difference between how both work. And for better reflections, hardware ray tracing is what it's really must be. It's like there is no way you can good reflections, unfortunately, compared to hardware ray tracing software, but it's getting there, at least for now. So I use Skylight, Volumetric Cloud, and Sky Atmosphere like you teach me. I don't know why is that happening, Hoshi. It should like be working fine. I think here, yeah, I'm using the same here. Like this is the volumetric clouds and whatnot, the skylight. I would delete all your actors, lighting actors, and add them again. Maybe that will fix it. But if I took the roof off and the sunlight came in, fix the problem. Hardware. That's interesting. Yeah, I think when the sunlight came in, that's more tracing for the global illumination. That's interesting. Things Unreal does. Okay, so let's get rid of these and let's focus a little bit on our project. I don't know how much time we have. How much time we've been live? 40 minutes. So we have like another 40 minutes, 30 minutes. Let's get some work done. So it has to do with the limited samples from the skylight coming through the windows. That's possible, yeah. So what are these exactly? This is why I love Unreal Engine. It helps you like going anywhere and see exactly how things look, and you can do your thing. So in this scenario, it's a little tricky to move. So let's start with this layer. And this layer says should be like rename walls level 1. And in this layer, because it says walls, we need to get rid of anything that doesn't say wall. I'm going to deselect these. Oh, it looks like I was talking to myself for the last, I don't know how long. That happened. Sorry. Oh my god. Well, that's fine. So this is one of the meshes I'd like to remake. So if I inspect it closely, it's not perfect. So here you have an opening, and you have this edge that's just going from here to here, and it's not like going anywhere, and it doesn't even have to be here, right? So let's just fix this. So I'm going to select the edges that we need to fix, delete what I want to delete. I'm gonna do the same here. Going to click on one to check if for any floating vertices. And there are also scripts in 3ds Max that does this. However, I'm starting with just the most basic stuff, and we will introduce tools, plugins, and scripts as we progress. And that will also happen for Blender. Now, for some reason, these two guys don't want to go away, and that's not so good. However, that's fine. Sometimes you may need to do some operations for the meshes before you can do whatever you want to do. So let's see if this connects. No, it doesn't connect. So we need to do some cuts. So let's click here, cut here. Cut. And what we're creating is we're converting the n-gun, which is this mesh. So let me just make a duplicate to show you what happens. What you want to generally avoid in your meshes. So why we do this? Why do we cut our meshes? And create like quads everywhere. Let me just finish it. So everything gets triangulated when you send it to a game engine, because game engines does not render quads. They render computer GPUs. They don't render quads. They render triangles, and that's just how the way they're made. And when you triangulate when you put everything in quads like this, you just have more control over the triangulation and therefore more expected results. And this is especially important on meshes like sort of organic. This is here really doesn't matter so much, but still, it's important to have clean mesh just in case you want to modify your meshes at least, like, and move things around. When everything is n-guns, it's sometimes a nightmare. So, yep. Let's just do some triangulation. Look, now I'm able. So this is another reason you want to clean up your mesh. So the topology here, if I select this face, this vertex where nothing is connected, and I click delete, nothing is happening. The only thing I can do is actually delete like this, the whole face, and recreate it in order to fix it. And here, because we added some cuts, like we added the just here and here. If I click now, remove, I can get rid of it, right? So that's another reason why you want your meshes cleaned up. God, I'm so happy we get this scenario. Yeah, this is great demonstration. This usually doesn't happen easily. Now, not to do everything twice, we can do mirror or symmetry. Let's just choose the right axis. And you do it once, you forget about it. Let's just delete this middle line, we don't want it. And let's just connect these parts together, because this is an n-gun. We have 1 edge, 2 edge, 3, 4, 5, 6. In this face, we have at least like 8 actually. So now let's make them into 4. So I click these vertices and I connect, click this and connect, and that's it. Now we have 3 faces, and 1, 2, each got 4 edges. Now let me just triangulate this and this to show you also what we mean. So when you click, this is like very quick way I triangulate stuff when you add Pro Optimizer. Before it does anything, it will triangulate everything. So look here, like we know all our triangles will be. But now, if I do this, I don't know where these lines will go. So let's just try. Okay. So it finds like the closest path and goes there. And this is now not bad. If you really like want everything to go to one place, if you have like strict poly count and you know exactly what you're doing, you can do this. I'm not saying it's bad. Like everything now can easily convert it into quads, but it must be triangulated first. Ah, you found the problem for the skylight. Real-time capture was disabled in the skylight. So let me try that on my end. Skylight. I don't know if this will work, but let's try anyway. Oh, look at that. Thank you so much for sharing the solution, Lahushi TV. So So that's also great tip. If you're using path tracing, the problem Maman Lahushi had, why do we have black sky when we are using path tracing? And the solution he found in your skylight, when you create your skylight, by default, I believe real-time capture is not enabled. I'm not sure. But if you enable this, you'll get your beautiful sky. Again, thank you so much for sharing the solution, Maman. Alex. Hello, grass shadow disappear at close distance. How to solve this problem? I'm using nanite grass and virtual shadow maps. I need to produce this and I need to see the problem exactly. How are you distributing your meshes with the paint tool? Do you have dynamic shadows turned on? Okay, so going back to our topic, I don't think we need this. This mesh here looks good. We just want to bridge things. And if you have like OCD, like me, you want to take it next step, you can do this. But believe it or not, this is what I do to all my projects. And it helps me find errors, just like we just did. Sorry, I was drinking water. So here we have some mesh overriding another. So what we can do is select and fix it like so. So you want to avoid this. This is not good. Even this. So this always should be perfectly aligned. If you're now a 3S Max user or whatever user, if you're working on a specific layer or collection, it's recommended that you hide everything that you're not working with. So I'm going to hide unselected, and now I'm just focusing here. So not every time I click toggle my view, it shows me everything and I like select everything and isolate again. So that's very much recommended. So this is one of the examples where we said it's not okay to create where you have a closed room like this and bad things will happen with lighting. So what we would do in this case is detach this into 4 elements. So I'm going to click. What is this exactly? So let's first fix this. That's interesting. So let's do that. All right. Let's check for any floating vertices that we have here. Now, let's just make sure This is important in 3ds Max. I realized yesterday it's not important in Blender, but you need to make sure when you detach your meshes that you need to have your correct group selected. In Blender, you simply click on the collection and that will be your active collection. So like this or this, which is very cool. That's it. And as for this part, we take it and we move it here. Now, is it important to close these? No, it's not. But look, this also helps us discover another bug in the asset. Here we go. So now we have some of these that have extra topology. If you want to go like extremely optimized, you can take out these, but usually it's preferred, to be honest, to have a clean model if you have the time. But again, there are tools to do all of that. However, the reason you do this manually, so you learn how plugins and other like tools that automate your workflow works and how to debug any problems. And you need to know what they're doing, right? So that's like the argument. So how does things look here? So notice every time I click, sometimes there is like some sort of this, and I convert this to edit poly. So I'm just gonna select everything and convert it to edit poly, so I never do that again. That will make my workflow faster, instead of like doing the same process every multiple times. So this here, if you zoom enough, you're gonna see like they're not perfectly aligned. So we can do that on the y-axis on Make Planner. And I have shortcuts for these because I use them a lot. But let's find them first. Make Planner, X, Y, and Z. So on X, they'll be in the middle. And on Y, it will find the average between everything. You may see the line, I don't know if it's possible, but this is before, and this is with after. So now they're perfectly aligned. So we zoom here and let's take a look. What's happening in the mesh here exactly? I think this is due to detaching surfaces from each other. We get these. So let's close some of them because it's just nicer. And also, for easier readability, let's fix these as well. It's much easier to read. And I don't believe we need any of these lines, so we can simply get rid of most of them. We can simply select everything except for like one dot, make them planar on the Z axis, everything, and then bring them all to this, but from here to here. Nope, that didn't work. My bad. So we should not select these. There we go. No, it was 3S Max bad because it was set to 2.5, not 3. And it's my bad for setting it somehow to 2.5. I'm just kidding, guys. Okay. Let's get rid of the floating vertices. Let's select and let's do this. And let's do this. Nice. Just wield everything. I knew something is wrong with the anti-aliasing. You're so jagged. Okay, guys, I have a meeting in 30 minutes or less that I need to prepare to what I will be doing next. So let me show you. I think I showed you last time an example of what will happen next. So if we come back here, this mesh, now we need to align these perfectly here. So when we change anything on this mesh, so allow me to demonstrate. Let's imagine there are scenario where I'm like applying whatever material. So I don't want this to leak here. It's something we need to work on. And the same everywhere. So tomorrow, or tonight if I have time, we'll come back live again, do it together, have some fun. I hope you enjoyed the stream today. And be on the lookout for more. So I see you very soon, guys. Let's put some music and outro.